You know how most business books are, right? They've got these incredible, life-changing ideas, but they're buried under hundreds and hundreds of pages of filler. So I got to thinking, what if you could get all that gold without having to dig through all the fluff? Well, I've gone through 40 of the best business books out there, cut out all the nonsense, and distilled their core lessons into one powerful explainer. Let's dive in.
Yeah, that's right, 40 books. We are talking about months and months of reading, all boiled down right here for you. It's going to save you an absolutely insane amount of time. These are the key points, the stuff that will actually help you build wealth, and you don't have to read a single page.
And it all comes down to this: a single, simple, actionable roadmap that covers the entire journey of building a successful business. This isn't just a bunch of theory, okay? This is a practical guide that you can literally start using today.
We're going to cover 4 distinct stages. First up, how do you start a business with absolutely no money? Second, the art of selling, anything to anyone. Third, how to do marketing that actually gets you noticed in a super crowded world. And finally, how to manage your money like the top 1%. Let's get to it.
So this first one, this has to be one of the most Googled questions on the planet. How do you create something from absolutely nothing? Well, it all starts with a simple 5-step process.
First, we need to find your unique strengths. Then, we use those strengths to come up with a contrarian idea, something nobody else is doing. After that, we'll create a super simple visual plan, build what's called a minimum viable product to prove the idea works, and finally, execute on it with ruthless efficiency.
You know, society always tells us to fix our weaknesses, but the book StrengthsFinder 2.0 says that is terrible advice. Real success comes from doubling down on what you're already naturally good at. I mean, think about it like this. If you and a young Tiger Woods both go practice golf for an hour, his natural talent acts as a massive multiplier on his effort. You gotta find your multiplier and lean into it hard. This quote is from Peter Thiel's masterpiece, 0 to 1. And at its core is this fascinating idea of a contrarian truth. It's something that you believe is true that most people actually disagree with you on. And that is where billion-dollar ideas are born, because you're creating a market that literally no one else even sees yet.
And this just illustrates it perfectly, right? Steve Jobs bet that we didn't want a physical keyboard back when BlackBerry was king. Uber bet that we'd happily get into a total stranger's car. And Netflix bet that we'd want to watch entire seasons of a show all at once. They all went against the grain, and it gave them a massive, massive advantage.
So, you've got your big idea. Now what? You need a plan. But forget those dense 50-page business plans that nobody ever reads. The Business Model Canvas uses visuals to map out the 9 essential parts of any business. Just look at this example for Timmy's membership builders. You can see his customers, his value, his revenue, everything, all on one simple page. It makes planning so much clearer. Now, before you spend months or even years building something that nobody wants, you need to create what's called a minimum viable product, or an MVP. And the best story of this, hands down, is Dropbox. The founders just made a simple little video showing how their file sharing service would work. Here's the kicker: the product didn't even exist yet. They faked it. And just look at the result of that one little video. Their waitlist went from 5,000 people to 75,000 people overnight. That video was all the proof they needed to get investors on board and turn their fake product into a real one. See, an MVP doesn't have to be a product. It just has to prove people want what you're selling. Okay, so you've got an idea, you've proven there's demand for it. The next giant hurdle is learning how to sell it. And believe me, these skills aren't just for business. This is about persuading your boss, your friends, anyone, in pretty much any part of your life.
So, most people fail before they even ask for the sale because they haven't set the right frame. Robert Cialdini's book, Influence, talks about this consultant who is always getting asked for discounts. So he started joking with clients saying, well, I can't exactly charge you $1 million for this. And after that, nobody ever questioned his $75,000 fee. That first number, that $1 million anchor, it made everything else seem totally reasonable.
Now, what if I told you there's a way to turn a negotiation into a collaboration? The book Never Split the Difference introduces these things called calibrated questions. So let's say your landlord raises your rent. Instead of arguing, you just genuinely ask, how am I supposed to do that? When you say it in the right tone, it makes them feel like you respect them, and it actually invites them to help you solve your problem. It's a game changer.
So you can sell one-on-one. Great. But how do you get thousands of people talking about you all at once? I mean, you could have the best product in the world, but it is completely useless if nobody knows it exists. The key is to be remarkable.
Seth Godin's book, Purple Cow, has this absolutely brilliant metaphor. Imagine you're driving down a country road, and you pass hundreds of brown cows. You ignore them all, right? But what if you saw a purple cow? You would slam on the brakes, you'd take a picture, and you would tell every single person you know about it. Your business needs to be that purple cow. Something so unique and different that people can't help but talk about you.
So how do you find your purple cow? You need real, honest data, not just encouragement. This comes from a book called The Mom Test. The idea is, don't ask your friends, hey, do you like my idea for a piano learning app? They're your friends. They're just going to be nice to you. Instead, you have to ask about their life. Tell me about the last time you tried to learn an instrument. What was frustrating about it? See? That gets you honest, useful information, not just blind support.
Now, once you get a customer, the journey is not over. As the book .com Secrets explains, you need a value ladder. Think about your dentist. They start you off with a simple, low-cost checkup. Then they offer a cleaning, then maybe teeth whitening, and so on, moving you up to higher and higher-priced services. Here's the thing. If you don't offer your customers a way to spend more money with you, they'll find a competitor who will.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial part of all this. Look, you can be an absolute genius at starting, selling, and marketing, but if you cannot handle your cash, none of it matters. This is where so many successful people completely fall apart.
So here's a quick reality check for you. Ask yourself this question right now and be honest. If all of your income just stopped tomorrow, dead in its tracks, could you stay afloat for at least 3 months? If the answer is no, you are financially out of shape and it is time to hit the financial gym.
This right here is probably the single biggest mindset shift from the book Profit First. So the old way is you take your sales, you subtract all your expenses, and then you just kind of hope there's some profit left over. The smart way completely flips the formula. You take your sales, you immediately take your profit out first, and then you are forced to run the business on whatever is left. It forces you to be efficient, and it guarantees you're profitable.
All right, let's try a quick puzzle from Daniel Kahneman's incredible book, Thinking Fast and Slow. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? Now, if you instantly thought 10 cents, you're not alone, but you're wrong. The answer is 5 cents. Your fast intuitive brain, your System 1, jumped to the easy answer. Your slow analytical brain, System 2, is what you need for the right one. And in business, you have to know when to slow down and let System 2 take over.
So after distilling all 40 of these amazing books, the secret to building wealth isn't really one single thing. It's a 4-part journey. It starts with your own natural innate strengths. It moves from aggressive selling to collaborative problem solving. It's about marketing by being so different that you're impossible to ignore. And finally, it's about managing your money by paying your business its profit first. There's this powerful idea from the book The 12-Week Year that says work always expands to fill the time we give it. So instead of making these giant year-long plans, think in 12-week sprints. You now have the complete framework from 40 of the world's best business books. So the only real question left is, what are you going to achieve with it?